How to Draw Cartoons with John-Marc.
Hey, it's John-Marc and welcome to my series on teaching you how to draw cartoons and so much more. I'm excited that you're stopping in and checking out this latest one because I have 3 lessons to share with you, all of which are going to be really fun, challenging, and also inspirational. And the techniques of sketching, oh my goodness, you gotta watch this whole episode. This one's a great one. So the first one is a little cartoon boy. The second one is going to be a little dog. Boy, dog, and what could be the third one? A bird. That's right, a bird. All 3 of these come with different challenges and creativity. So if you have your paper and pencil, I think we're ready to begin all 3. All right, let's begin the lesson. And as you can see, this is going to be a very simple lesson. It's going to be a little cartoon head. Feel free to change the shape, the style, and the expression as well. Note once again the sketchiness and how light I actually begin my artwork. It's not very firm. And as you can see, I create the crosshair to give you that element to know where the nose, eyes, and mouth will be. And as well, you can see the far left eye a lot smaller because that kind of gives you the illusion it's curved, the head, so it's not the same shape as a right eye. And here's the mouth right now. Open up, and I'm going to have his teeth together, and that's when I'll share that a little bit more when I get closer in this. He's like looking over to you on the far right there right now. All right, I'm working on his face. Here's his chin, his head, and you can see where that line is. That's where I'm just going to put the ear. Feel free to play around with that. Maybe you want to make him to like a little elf and change it to like a little elf ear. This is a little neck and a shoulder. Really simple, nothing. I'm just going to put like a little collar on here, and his like arms over on the far side. And his hair right here, right now. All right, and a little short hair. Kind of give a little waves to it, little cuts. And this is the thing that's really, really fun. So if you take the basic shape that you have now on another piece of paper, thumbnail a whole bunch of different hairstyles. And where do you get the different hairstyles? Look online, look through magazines and see how people have their hair, and create a little cartoon version of it. All right, so this is basically how I feel very comfortable where it looks right now. I like that. I'm going to give his eyebrow on the top there. And all right, yeah, so it looks pretty good. I like that. And so now I'm going to go a little bit slower, a little bit more firmer with my lines. As you can see here, this is like the top part with the eyelid there. I'm giving a little bit more dimension. And here's the eye, the eyeball on the side, simple. And here's another thing you could try to experiment. Take this head. This is like a 3/4. Imagine if you did it was straight on, how that shape would look like. Or maybe if it's a profile, using the same face and did the whole rotation as if it was a model sheet. That would be a good challenge that you could do on your own. I'm going to have other lessons explaining that, but for those who understand what I'm sharing with you, it's like rotating the head. So this would be like a model sheet. You would have, this is a 3/4 side view, front, and even the back of his head there. Okay, here's his mouth, big, nice, big smile with his teeth together. That part right there, and this all teeth there, and a little lip there. I'm just going to shade that little curvature. There we go, and just shade that inside there. Give it a little bit there. Yeah, feel free to give him a little freckles if you want him to have freckles on there. All right, there's his chin. Very simple. You could even put a beard or a mustache on him. Give him longer hair. Put glasses on him. Put a hat, bandana. These are just little other thoughts. And it's a little longer hair in the back. All right, let's get that little skinny neckline that he has there. All right, getting that down. That's looking good. I'm just going to shade that in, really, the collar there. Let me just get that look. Here we go. All right. So when you're thinking about doing little model sheets of people, where do I get these ideas? Well, everybody that you walk around in your family and friends, we all have different shapes of heads and style. I used to do a lot of caricatures of people from art school when I graduated. I used to do a lot of parties for kids, and parents hired me, so it was fun because there's a lot of different shaped heads, and you can go to town with that. But now you can just walk into a store or sit into a park and see everybody just walking around and take like little pictures and go home and use them as reference, and just use your exaggeration as a cartoonist. And that's fun. And just going to shade in the back of the hair on a little darker side on the other side. Just simple, just to give the part across. Yeah, this is pretty much done, I can say. Not much more to add on here. I'm just filling in a little texture, some area there, so it kind of separates from the this face there. There you go. And let me just give this some little curves. Yeah, looks simple, clean, fun. What else can we do? What else? I'll just put a line, horizon. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done. What else can I do? Nope, not much more. So let's sign and date. Share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching this lesson.
Hey, now wasn't that a fun lesson on that cartoon character? What did you learn different? Did you learn how to actually do that 3/4 view? You might want to challenge yourself and take that same character that you worked on, your style, or even the one that I did, do a front one and do a side one 3/4, different angles, all the different poses. Now that's a lesson coming in the future, giving you all different creativity with that. So the next one with a little cartoon dog coming up. You just gotta wait till after these messages. And
now back to our show.
all right, all you dog lovers, and I am animal lovers. I love all animals. So this lesson is going to be a fun one for you. So if you still have your paper and pencil and you're ready and they're all sharpened, no erasers, I think we're ready to begin this little cartoon dog. So let's begin.
All right, let's begin the lesson. I'll be using my mechanical pencil once again and just simply sketching out all the basic shapes for this little cute little cartoon dog. I have his face there, and now I'm just putting out for his nose right there. There you go. You can do a lot of different style noses. And here's just a crosshair for the eyes. So the top of his head here and his body here. I'm going to just lay that shape out. Feel free, once again, as always, change the shape and use your imagination. It may not be a little dog. It could be a cat if you wanted to change the ears, or to a little teddy bear. The body right now can be a bear or a lion even, with a nose standing straight up. So feel free to just explore. But right now, just understand the technique of sketching very lightly. This is like my step one, like I share from time to time. Very light and very quick, and just getting the form together to help go a little bit tighter when you need to. Now there's his hand on his side, and let's give him a big tail in the back, or it could be a skinny tail as well. And here's a fun lesson with this one. Now at the very end, you may want to customize it and add some clothes to him. He could be sporting a little jacket on there, or a shirt, or even a baseball hat on there. That would be a real fun add-on. But here we go with the one ear on the side, and the other one I just quickly put there. Let's get his eyes over here. Really big and wide. And the emotions and personality really comes out how the facial expressions that you have. And I always have mine happy. That's all right. That's the ear coming down a little further down there. The nose. There we go. All right. There's legs here. There's a little, let's get the toes in there. Okay. Maybe it's just there. Yeah, I like that. All right. So overall, just looking quickly. Where else can I change? All right. So let's get a little bit more detail now, and take that time and go a little bit more heavier on your pen. So that is, I'm just shading the nose. And now watch when I'm curving that little shadow there. So it gives it a little dimension when you're shading. So you're not just like shading straight across when you make it flat. All right, I'm trying to shade in the shape of the actual nose and his neck, the overlapping lines, and leaving that space for the neck to be exposed. Here's his little ear. There. You could have ears straight up too. You could have it kind of like a typical German Shepherd, or yeah, you can change it to a different breed dog right now as well. All right, here's the eyes again. Again, that little eyeball in there, a little darker lid on the top, and his eyes. Okay, singular. And you can change the eye, make it simpler if you want to. And note, as you can see, the eye on the right is not a full circle like the other eye that you see on the left. That is due to the curvature of the head. Here's his little eyebrows on top. There we go. It's looking cute. Yeah, and he's looking really good. I like how that little facial on the side here for his ear. Let's give him some hair sticking on out. Yeah, a little fun little character like that. And his arm on the side there is like, he could be holding something right now. He could be holding a baseball. He's a picture, so you could add a hat on top of him if you want to. All right, and then his little belly right there, and getting around his secondary arm. That arm is behind, so that's, you're not going to see it too much. He's just straight down. Let's give where his little toes are. Yeah, and feel free that you may want to give him classical shoes and some tie on there, so he could be like going out for a little party or for a little show. All right. And what I would always say with that is using this final piece there, take another paper on top, kind of like you're tracing, but you're not, and then draw the clothes on top. So if you don't like it, you just take the paper off to the side and you don't ruin the picture. And you can keep on adding different elements on top of one another. And you guys get the little horizon line there. So a little bit better. All right, little cheeks there. Feel free to add some spots on the dog if you want to. Polka dots, pattern on there, stripes. Yeah, he's looked good. All right, so as always, let's sign and date. Share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching this video, and have a great day.
Now that was a fun lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. What did you do different? Changing the style, made some creativity twist to it. Maybe you put a hat on it, maybe a bow tie or a tie. Whatever you did, making it your style is awesome. I always want to encourage everybody to do something like that. Now, did you pay attention to this technique of sketching again? How I start really light and look at all the different shapes, and then I get a little bit tighter. So this is just a sketch, like a real quick thumbnail, I would really say. And from there, I would clean it up. So if you like the little boy and the dog, I think the little bird, well, the big bird, is going to be a fun one. So stay tuned.
And now back to our show.
Hey, if you still have your paper and pencil and you're ready to draw this little cute little cartoon bird, he's going to be a fun lesson. I love birds. I have bird houses outside that I make. I feed them. They're flying all over the place. Did I say I like birds? Well, I think I did. So if you have your paper and pencil, let's begin.
All right. Now, this lesson is going to be a fun one, and I always say that because I have a very fun time working on all my cartoons, and I just want to share the same excitement with you all. So what I did right here now is I took a bird book, and I just looked at a little bird, and I turned it into a cartoon. So here we go with the head, the body, and the feet, and I'm just making like a little branch that it's actually sitting on. And here's the wing on one side here, and another wing all the way on the far left. Now, when you're looking at books for reference for insects or birds or animal, that is a great thing to do, just because you may not know what a particular animal, or in this case, a bird, may look like, but it helps you so you don't have to think what it actually might have or the shape and the size. So getting references is very important for all artists, and that's something that we always do consistently in art class when I was growing up. So we used to actually go to zoos, and I actually used to sit there in front of the animals and just draw like model because they were walking around, which was even better. Nowadays, we can just turn on the internet and look on a video and see an animal walking around just as good, but seeing in person does give a different impression of the majesty of these animals. So, highly recommend if you have a zoo or some place to go. First off, if not, feel free to pull open a book or watch a little video. Either way, just practicing and more sketching is the key thing. And this is great because you can turn it into your style, what I just did here right now. And as you can see, this is very rough sketch, very loose pencil. This is pretty much my step one all the way right now. And I think I'm pretty good right now. So let's go a little bit more in detail now, a little bit slower. And as you can see, I make those little puffy eyes sometimes. If you've seen some of my other lessons, like the snowman's, I just make the singular eye, made it really simple. This is more of a step up from those traditional eyes, as you can see. All right. And just quickly putting all the darker lines over the lighter lines. And again, I will not be using my eraser. I'm not worried about that because this is just a sketch. When I do my final one, I might go a little bit more. You might have seen that I shared one of my little drawings from a cartoon tree, like an apple tree. I just recently did it traditionally watercolor, and I posted that up on my site as well. Here's underneath his wings, little feathers here and there, more of his body and his chest there. I'm just going to give a little pattern here. There we go. All right, the belly, and then this is the other part of his leg hanging on the other side. And this I'm just going to shade in a little darker since it's on the other side again. Let's put some feathers out there. So when I'm looking at the bird in the book, they may not look or treat the wings or the feet the same way. I might use my imagination and make them thicker in that case, or make them a little bit more exaggeration. That's key. You don't have to do it like real art. That's great too. But this case, these are cartoons, and just exploring your creativity is all that I want you to practice with. And the little toes, you have the two in the front and the one in the back. Let's get that one right there. All right. And let's play around with like that little branch, like it's broken off cut here. There, that's another offshoot. Some leaves hanging on there. Leaves over here. Quickly just put them on there. Yeah, let's the texture, how the wood of the branch, let us continue it. Yeah, that does get the tree a little bit more life, so it's not just like hanging in there. Some more, and okay, let me put some leaves all here, so it'd be like a full tree. There's these leaves all just randomly around, and as you can see, I didn't put that in a sketch when I was sketching. It just came to my thoughts right now, and I just went along with it. And I'm not going to emphasize it so much, meaning I'm not going to go in full detail, go a little bit tighter with this. That's just a simple background parameter, and I want to have more attention to the little birdie right now. All right, the leaves, just going to randomize them. Okay, a little bit. Let's get this a little bit. There you go. There you go. So his feet are on there. I like that. So I hope you enjoy this lesson, and what you're learning from sketching daily will actually help you as an artist all the way. I grew up doing traditional art all the time, working with pencil, airbrush, watercolor, acrylics, color pencils, graphite pencils, everything in between. Loving it to doing it. And sketching was always something I always did. And sometimes I actually did fine art, traditional, made it look very realistic. But my heart to heart always went to the cartoons. And that's why I am showcasing all these lessons. All right, a little branch here, there. All right, yeah, I'm looking pretty good with it. Just about done. So let's sign and date. Share with your family and friends. Thanks for watching this lesson, and have a great day.
Hey, that was a fun lesson on that little cartoon bird, and I'm excited to share all three of these lessons with you. One thing with the bird that you could really play up on is using your imagination and follow different types of bird. Take a bird book out and look at their different shapes, colors, and their feathers, and how big and tall, and the shapes of their bodies. Again, that is the technique of sketching first. When you see the shape and look at the body and the head and the beaks, or the long legs, or whatever, the short wings, or the big wings, or the big belly, that would be a perfect one, just an experiment for everything that I'm sharing with you in all my lessons. It's looking key at what you're looking at, using your imagination, and sketching the best way that you can. Now, all three of these lessons are very similar, but yet they have a fun thing about them. You're drawing and using your imagination, and I love sharing this with you. So if you enjoy this lesson, my website is jmg-studio.biz. As always, I want to say thanks for watching this episode and have a great day. Hey, it's John-Marc, and I'm right back at you with another great tip. As you can see, I have one of my 35mm cameras. This is a digital one. I go back many years ago when I was a little kid. I looked on the old-fashioned traditional Kodachrome and Ektachrome with the film where you had to put it in there and slide it across. A lot more work involved, and you had less pictures. Now with a digital, you have a ton of pictures. You may not have the best camera. On the phone is a great camera, but when you get a nice 35mm, you can change the lenses on there, so you can get zoom lens and telezoom. You can micro, so you can get closer and detailed type of photography. I've been taking pictures and photography as, maybe starting in 6th grade, my father got me started on. And I am so encouraged, and I'm thankful that he did. Why? Because what I share from time to time, reference. You might have to find a book, or you might have to go to an area with your phone, and you can take pictures, but this is a game changer. When you have a nice camera and a zoom lens on it, you can get the blur in there, you can get the focus, concentrate, you can detail on a little butterfly or an insect or the rocks or the water. You can speed things up and slow things down so you can get motion if it's like the water or a car zooming by or clouds. When you understand photography, the whole new world opens up. What really opens up for you is how you captivate your audience with your shot. So as you can see now, when you're looking around, you see all this stuff in front of you, but when I look with a camera, I can focus on one thing and I'm like, wow, you can concentrate. That's composition. The camera helps me a lot. The phone is just as good. Not saying the phone's not better than the camera, but I am at the same time. The camera, I should say, the phone is not as good as the camera. The camera is a lot better. So if you wanted to go into the next step in your career to change for your drawings, I would recommend getting a camera. Great tip.